So, June 5, Matsumoto and the Snow Monkeys. It's a weird band. So we left the ryokan for good, so packed up everything and travelled, which was kind of fun because like I had to pack up all of my toys and stuff that I bought and all the little figures. And we travelled to, I think it's Nagano, via train to see the Snow Monkeys. As you can see, I've really funnily worded it there, Snow Monkeys, and like all the words around it. Writing diaries is fun. So, because I'm a healthy boy, I bought myself some chocolate and jelly beans for breakfast on the train. Very healthy, 10 out of 10. Very, very sugary jelly beans compared to what we usually eat, like here at home. We arrived at Nagano and caught a bus. A 20-minute trip and a small hike led us to a forest path where near the end of it actually smelled like eggs because we got to a small town and there was a lot of sulfur coming out of it, and of course it smelled like eggs, which was alright, I guess. The forest was beautiful, probably my favourite trees in all of Japan, which are very common there, which is nice. The cedar trees, very long tree with the, it's like a palm tree, but it's all flat, and there's no like branches on the side. It's all that stuff at the top. It's made it impossible to see squirrels or anything, which apparently were there. We did see a snake while we were walking up the hike because there's a guy just standing there for no reason. Then he started walking past us, and we kept walking. And then because like the pathway was very thin. Trees all on one side, like leading all the way down. Very dangerous slope, no rail. And a whole gravel pathway. And then there's this like concrete patch with water going through it because of course there was like a drainage system for extra water. And there was just a snake on the thing there. I pointed out to Dad, I'm like, shit, there's a snake. And he's like, oh. And so we just moved away from it and kept walking up. And we never saw it again, so I wasn't ever getting video footage, but it was a snake. It wasn't spooky at all. Moving on. So the forest was, full of these pine trees. And after another 20-minute walk, we were at the enclosure where we'd already bought our tickets in advance. There were various monkeys, obviously all on screen now, because you went through a small building, and then you were allowed into the outlet. Dad kept mentioning how like he'd been there in the winter, so it was all snowy, a lot more tourists, a lot more packed, and all the monkeys were at the watering hole because it was all a spa, so they could stay warm in the winter. But because it was just at the end of spring, it was summer, they had all these monkeys with baby monkeys. So we got to see monkeys on top, like baby monkeys on top of their mothers or underneath them, and just running around and all kinds of stuff. We got them really close up as well, which was really cool, but they kept saying, don't get too close to the monkeys. So I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, don't touch the monkeys. Especially don't feed them. But yeah, there were all kinds of monkeys there, and it was beautiful. We didn't have to go too far too. We went to like the edge of one of the paths, looked all the way down, and we're like, yeah, no, this is alright. Got a few minutes of footage, and then we left. I bought like 2 monkey phone charms, one for myself and one for Katie. Oh, baby one. I was watching the baby monkey climb on his mother. Let's go behind the goddamn rock. And then we took a really, really quick walk back so we could get the next train because it had a weird 2-hour gap, which we did not want to get into because otherwise we would have to stay there for 2 hours. And so we walked really fast down the forest path, and then we ran down the concrete, down the bitumen road. Footage on screen now. Yeah, and we ran and just made the bus, which was very nice. To which we actually had to get off at a certain... we got off at one of the stations, had to catch a train down to another station, I think. I think that's right. Does that say it here? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the day before in Nikko that we caught a bus to a stop, but it turns out we had to walk down to the next stop, which was our actual stop. I think that's right. Yeah, that should be right. Anyway, so we caught so we had to go to a bus stop. The bus went to a train station. The train then we got to Nagano Station, where we had originally gotten off. And we got some sushi rolls, like a mini burrito. I don't even know what that means. We made it to Matsumoto, where we left our bags at Richmond Hotel. Our path then led us to Matsumoto Castle. It's a castle, kind of. That's not even the real castle. The actual castle's over there. This is the gateway. Fish, I think. I can't see through the viewfinder, so I'm just going to imagine you can see fish. Fishy fish. River. Freaking thingy. Castle. Freaking thingy. Pigeon. Where we walked the grounds before taking our shoes off and climbing the many floors of the castle. It'd be a tiny little samurai dressed up as a bee. Or is it a bee dressed up as a samurai? Spooky. Sorry, weirdly phrased because, of course, 2 stamps, dividing the page up. I didn't want to waste any paper. So we got to the castle, had to walk through it, take off our shoes. We had to carry them in bags, so I had one camera in one hand, bag of shoes in the other hand. So that was very fun. You get used to it after a bit, I guess. The majority of the castle was kind of a museum for all the kinds of different weapons and guns that they had, and it will tell you where they would use them and why they would use them and stuff like that. Sweet mother of merciful God. The steepest stairs you'll ever see. I don't think I was allowed to photograph a lot of it. I can't recall. There's either footage up here or there isn't. And they also showed off some armor that was used by soldiers who would have stayed there. The top few floors had no photography. There were very, very hard, very, very steep steps. Now, this wasn't Himeji Castle, which is very, very steep steps. Here we go again with this crap. Himeji's steep. Fuck off. I don't know. What are you complaining about? I don't know. The fact that I'm carrying my shoes and a camera. So this is the gun museum. Ooh, guns. Yeah, some of these from my town was built in 1594. And first rifle. The first rifle was introduced into Japan 50 years earlier. Waiting for the tourists to pass. They don't even care. It's a cool bloody park. It's so hard to even zoom on details, like it's a giant fire. It gets worse. To scale. So Matsumoto Castle, I believe, is the Black Castle. Yeah, I think so. Himeji's the White Castle, I think. Yeah. And yeah, it was bamboo, rails, very steep, people coming up and down, and oh boy, not fun at all. Showcased very steep steps. Then the room where the soldiers lived, So there was a room where the soldiers had actually lived. It looked very wide because of the lighting of the room, which was very clever. And then the next room was actually, or at least the next level was for ammo and food. There was no windows whatsoever. Because, of course, you don't want an arrow of fire to blow up all your ammo and your food. That would be bad. But then we went to the Shogun's room, which was the very top. This room had windows that would view the whole of Matsumoto from every angle, from north, south, east, and west. They were just small rectangular windows. And then we walked more of the grounds. So we looked around the inside, and then we went over the gardens. Then we went to the outside as well, before we headed back to the hotel. In the hotel, we watched Japanese TV. So, you get some old buildings and castles, very nice. And then Japanese TV. So I filmed some of that, so have a look.
There is a tiny castle town called Izushi, lying in a mountain valley.
So this is Izushi. And there's the castle.
Yes. It's got an extremely long history.
Are we going there?
It has a small playhouse called Eidakukan.
Is this it?
Yes.
No.
It opened in 1901.
No, we've got the wrong footage playing. Quick, Janice, change the channel.
The Kabuki House opened in 1901. It's not even that
In
old.
1964, there were all kinds of different forms of entertainment, and finally, it had to close.
Oh. So it opened up as a sex.
Eventually, people realized what an important cultural asset it was, and finally, it reopened in 2008.
Took them 44 years to realise it.
So it was restored to what it looked like in its heyday.
Yes, that's right.
Alright, let's put on something that's actually Japanese.
The area has tatami mats and
It's the same fucking channel, but it's on not HD.
That was funny.
Are we just in the American channels now?
I don't know.
I found all the American channels. You can tell because they're low quality. Ah, just the news.
また屋内スペースでは17段階が
Okay, old people doing yoga. Broccoli, disgusting. It's the shopping channel. Ho ho. No, it's still news. Ah, this is the good shit. No, he's old, so his eyes are closed permanently. No, it's just how they depict old people, I guess. Alright. Right.
千葉県鎌ケ谷市で発生したご当地ナンバープレートの連続窃盗事件。盗まれたナンバープレートにデザインされたピッチャーのシルエット。その訳とは
Why is there just a picture of a girl in the corner?
実はこちら千葉県鎌ケ谷市には日本ハムの2軍の本拠地があるんです。
Oh, baseball.
Skied high and deep to right field, Soler. Big fly, Ohtani shot. 北海道日本ハムから海を渡った
Ah, it's that guy that's advertised everywhere.
大
We mostly kept to a game show that seemed to be a mixture of like B-grade celebrities and comedians making themselves look like fools for fun. Of course, my cousin was able to we watched some episodes with my cousin later that week, who actually explained how some of the dynamics work because they had a very different kind of comedy to us. But of course, there was no dubs, no subtitles or anything for English, so everything was in Japanese. But we saw a bunch of animes and stuff that they were showing as well on the TV, some news, all kinds of stuff. We then scouted for a Korean barbecue joint for dinner. In this restaurant, we had to choose our own meat from a platter on a digital, like a tablet. And this is actually another thing from the castle, another stamp. And we would cook it ourselves. Like, literally, they bring in a platter of meat, and you just chuck it on this open fire, it's a metal plate, but it was a grill, so it had like, you know, vents for the fire to come out. And you just cook the meat yourself to your own perfection. We then followed this with dessert, which was, for me, it was chocolate cake with whipped cream and ice cream together. Beautiful. Separately, the ice cream and the cake was good. The ice cream was a bit dry. The cake was a bit dry, but worked really well with the ice cream and with the whipped cream. So it's one of those blended dish. Really worked. We then walked back to the castle for a night light viewing. Then went to the hotel to sleep. Correction. The Matsumoto castle was actually first. We went to the hotel. So we went to the hotel, dropped off our stuff, went to Matsumoto Castle, went back to the hotel, watched Japanese TV, went to see the castle again at night, then went to the barbecue and went back to the hotel. So here's a bunch of footage for Matsumoto Castle, where I will end this episode, or at least this part. So yeah, thanks for watching this episode. Maybe it was a two-parter, maybe it was a one-parter, I don't know. I may have combined it with Nico, or it's just Matsumoto and the Snow Monkeys by itself. Either way, thanks for watching. Next video, we get a whole different t-shirt. So feel free to watch any of the previous Japan videos I've made, or whatever other content that is on this channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. More to come. I think, what's the next episode? In the next episode, we go to Nagiso, and Kyoto. And then the episode after that is the Geisha Night. So, bye!
Is this a oh my god, is she in a cat cafe?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I think it's like a prank show. They're like, oh, so you're coming here to perform? And then she goes in and it's like, no, it's a cat cafe. Or maybe not. It's
一体何をしに行くのか。中に入ると宮殿のような謎の空間が。するとケースから取り出したのは
ジジちゃんです。フロップを取りたくて来ました。この人形
I don't know what's happening.
スーパードンキーっていうお人形を
トンチキンお気に入りのお人形スーパードンキー。
Please have more. God damn it. I got part of it, but not enough.
Did you get the English when they danced and jumped up?
Yes.
お笑い好き。しかも杉山はニャンコスター。王子様にして了解。歌って踊れる実写版アラジン映画館へ行こう。
Like they're dubbed in Japanese, even though there's still the obvious original translation in it. Original dub.
保険料の割引、健康診断割引、
大悟
第一生命。
視線は熱いが出来たては熱いがレッスンは熱いがひんやり寝具の N クール
お値段以上ニトリあなたお願い来てその力を引き当てようポケモンカードゲームお得な1億版ワイモバイル